Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. So this is a new show that I've been really looking forward to getting into. I've been watching all the trailers as they come out, been keeping up with the news on it. It's just a show that I'm really excited about. One, because I am a fan of the original movies, Lord of the Rings. They were some of the, I think, just best fantasy movies made, and they were really, really well done. But also, I know Amazon has been putting a ton of money into this. So I was really looking forward to what they could do, really going all out, spare no expense, what they could do with Lord of the Rings. And after watching the Wheel of Time, first half of the first season, I couldn't even get through the whole thing. My bar was lowered. Like, my expectations were not as high after watching that, because I had high hopes for that as well, because I love the books. But the series, I think they totally missed the mark on that. So I was honestly a little bit worried going into this, because they had done such a poor job, I think, with the Wheel of Time. But thankfully, I think they did some things really, really well, and I think they've missed the mark on just a few things. So let's get into it. Probably the best thing about this series so far to me, just episode 1 and 2, has been how immersive the world is. It is beautiful. I mean, they've really done a really good job of fleshing out this world and making it seem real and making it seem like you're there. And with the kind of money they've been throwing at this, that's kind of what you were hoping for, that it looks great. And they definitely pulled that off. It is a little lighter than I was expecting as far as like the lighting and all goes for that. But overall, I think some of the shots, big expansive shots, very typical of Lord of the Rings movies, they nailed that. And even just in these first 2 episodes, we have seen so many different landscapes, so many different places, and they've all just been so fun to watch. It's just been a visually entertaining show so far, and I hope they keep that up, because it has honestly been my favorite part so far. And I typically don't say that about a show. Usually I'm much more, the plot's got to hook me or else. And this one, like, the visuals have been done to the point where that's a big plus for me. And that's not something I say very often. And the acting so far, can't say anything really negative about it. None of the performances have really blown me away yet, but I can't say anything bad about the acting so far. And I think probably one of the reasons I can't say anything bad about the acting so far is this has been a very, very slow start. So there's a lot of setup in this. We're 2 episodes in, and still feels like we're just setting things up, which is not a bad thing necessarily. And they've done it in such a way that I don't feel too bored at parts. I was very worried in the first episode when it felt like half of the episode was nothing but a info dump, like literally just someone giving a monologue of the history leading up to it, and it just went on and on and on. Not the best way to convey information. So I was a little doubtful there, and now they've extended that setup on into the rest of the first 2 episodes. And like I said, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I enjoy a very complicated plot, and having all that set up, the promise being made there is this is going to be a very complicated plot. We need a lot of setup in order to pull it off, and that's fine. I'm down for that, as long as they take their time with the ending like they're doing with the beginning. Too many shows I've watched have this wonderful setup, interesting story, and then they have to wrap it up real quick, and it just seems like a clumsy ending. And with this much setup in the beginning, that's what I'm worried about for the ending is, are you going to be able to give a satisfying ending to this complicated of a setup? And one of the reasons I think the setup has taken so long is we are covering a lot of different characters. And that's probably my biggest criticism of these first 2 episodes, is we are jumping from character to character to character in different places, different locations, so often that I don't feel that attached to any of the characters. Like, I feel like I've been introduced to a lot of them, but I haven't built any, like I don't care about these characters. And we are 2 episodes in. That's a lot of runtime. for me not to have a connection with at least a character that I'm like rooting for or caring for or worried about or excited about. Hopefully that comes, but with the way it's been put together so far as the pacing goes, it's just been jumping around a lot and not getting you settled into, one storyline yet. But with all that being said, they have done a good enough job that I am definitely looking forward to watching the entire series. So overall, they've done a really fantastic job with building an immersive world that really transports you to another place. And I feel like I'm going to Middle Earth when I'm watching this. And that's what I want out of a fantasy series. I want to be taken somewhere else and experience a new world. And they have nailed that with the shots they have done, with the way they're filming this, with the special effects. It is just brilliantly pulled off so far, in my opinion. The pacing with the show has been a little slow. The jumping around from character to character so quickly has kind of made it hard for me to really connect with any of the characters. But the acting and the individual scenes have been good enough. And with all that tied together, I am still very excited to watch the rest of the series and see how they pull together this web of plot that they have formed in the first 2 episodes. And with that, guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you in the next one.